This is the Spark Go by Positive Grid. Now, I had like an 11-minute video scripted out, made up, ready to go, and the day before it was supposed to launch, I watched it and I didn't like it because it felt like I was trying to oversell it, and that's wasn't what I was trying to do. This is a review. It's not a sponsored review. I bought this myself on pre-order, got it a couple weeks ago. I've had plenty of time to play with it. I didn't want to do a review or a demo too quickly and make it sound either better or worse than it actually is. But in this video, I'm going to go over the good, the middle ground stuff, and the bad. And somewhere in the middle there, we're going to do some sound demos of it, both here, which is about an arm's length from the camera, and then I'm going to put it back here about 5 feet so you can kind of gauge what it sounds like in the room. It is not a perfectly accurate way to hear how this sounds in a room because, I mean, this is all subjective to the quality of the acoustics in the room and the microphone on the camera. Now, it's a good microphone on the camera, but at the same time, coming through your speakers and all that good stuff, it's just sometimes things get lost in translation. With that said, let's talk about the good. Well, the app and its features. If you're familiar with the Spark products like the 40 or the Mini, then you know how to use the app. The app has all sorts of great features. There's a ton of tones out there you can download, you can share, you can tweak, and it's got all sorts of effects and amps built into it. So the apps and the features are great. Now let's talk about the sound. Again, if you use the 40 or the Mini, then you know how good they sound. And this sounds good too. As far as volume, we'll talk about that in a bit. But it does sound good for its size. Now let me put this guitar down here for a second and just kind of show you, unplug it. It's got a decent size to it. It's slightly bigger than my phone here. This is a Pixel 6. And it comes with an extra grill. It comes with a gold grill, kind of like the one on the 40. But I like the black. I put the black on there. And it comes with another rubber strap. That one's a little bit smaller. I am not sure the functionality of this, if it's just supposed to be something you're going to grab and go with it. You maybe hang it on your guitar strap. I don't know. It doesn't serve a whole lot of function to me. And it's got like 3 buttons on top: your volume, your selection for your different presets. And if you hold that, it also turns it into a tuner. And you got 4 little LED lights here, red, green. You'll figure out how to make it work as a tuner. Your output, which can be changed from mono and stereo within the settings. I'm going to put up a video some other time that shows you the settings of this Spark Go. And then you've got volume buttons here. That controls the Bluetooth volume. This is your volume right here. It's a little round knob above your input, which is pretty cool. Then on here you got USB-C, power button, and you'll have a green light when it's on, flashing when it's charging, and red when it's dead. But there's another blue one. If it's on, that means it's connected to Bluetooth. If you need to connect it to Bluetooth, you tap it, and then you just pair up your device. And other than that, it's a really nice build. It's got like this rubber housing on it. I don't know if that's to protect it from dropping. I wouldn't suggest dropping it. I think it'd probably take a pretty decent bump. It's a good quality build, but be careful. Now let's talk about the middle ground, the volume. The volume's not bad as long as there's no other noise around. It's perfect at arm's length. You get a little further back, it's a little quieter. It's supposed to be a max like 82 decibels, somewhere in there. And that's fine. You can max it out, but it sounds a little better, a little below that. Now, if you're in a room with a bunch of other people talking, it might be a little too quiet. It's not going to cut through the noise. It's a practice amp, for crying out loud. It's got a tiny speaker in it. It's just a little one. I think they probably could have put another one in there. This is like a bass reflex response diaphragm right here. And I think they probably could have put another speaker in there and made it a little bit louder. I think it's supposed to be 5 watts, if I'm not mistaken. Volume's not bad, but it could be better. And a lot of the sponsored reviewers that got them before everybody else did, they made it sound like, oh, it fills a room. No, it doesn't fill a room. It sounds okay, but it doesn't fill a room, and you're a bunch of sponsored liars. And I'm just going to say that. You're full of crap. You're going to fill all sorts of people's heads with making it sound like it's super loud and clarity and all this nonsense. It does have nice clarity, but not at max volume. So I think a lot of people might be disappointed with that aspect of it. When you turn it up, it makes a little noise. That means it's maxed out. So now let's just do some sound samples. I've got 2 tones here I'm going to use. One's going to be, it's called Pure Fender Tone. It's one of my favorites on the app. And it's a nice twin reverb Fender sounding tone. So we'll just do a little bit of strumming and a little bit of fooling around. This is at, like I said, arm's length. And let's do it. And now a dirty tone. This is basically the same Fender Twin sound and patch, only I've added a SAB driver to it. It's like the Wampler Plexi driver. And it sounds pretty good to me. It sounds better on the 40, not so much on this. But I'm going to use it anyway and let you kind of hear what it sounds like. Now we're closer to about 5 feet away, and I'm going to turn away while I play, just so you're not hearing so much my string noise. And now the dirt again. See if I can remember how to play that riff I just kind of made up when I was playing it a second ago. It wasn't even close. So now that you heard some sound samples, let's talk about the bad. Right out of the box, it wanted a firmware update. Now, that's not something that anybody wants to do as soon as they get a product and hook it up to the app. It says, oh, you want to update the firmware. Do you have to? Probably not. I'm not sure. I just went ahead and did it anyway. But when I was updating the firmware update launcher would not launch correctly. I followed the directions. I launched it as administrator, all that good stuff, and it would get about a third of the way through and it would fail. It did it 3 times, and I finally decided to try something different. I ran the batch file instead of the update launcher, and that seemed to take care of the issue, and it updated just fine. The second problem I had was freezing up, where I had to do a hard shutdown and factory restarts. The first night, I'm trying to load some of my favorite presets on it, and there was one Mesa Boogie preset that I was trying to load on there, and every time I did, it would just freeze up. The lights were on, you could press every button on it, it wouldn't do anything, you wouldn't get any sound, nothing. And I had to do a hard restart, which is basically holding the power button for about 15 seconds until it shut down and then restart it. But every time I restarted it, since that patch was already there and it was trying to load it, it wouldn't work. So I had to do a factory restart, and off the top of my head, I don't remember how to do that right now, but I'm going to make a video on that process some other time. So I had to do a hard shutdown and a factory reset about 3 different times that night before I finally just gave up on that patch. And it wasn't just that patch. There was another patch too, and it was a clean patch, which I don't know. It just, some of the patches that load fine on the 40 and sound fine on the 40 don't load well on here, and they don't sound as good, and you have to kind of tweak some of the volume and stuff. Speaking of volume, if you're using high output pickups, probably anything above like 8K ohm, You have to turn on high Z mode in the settings, which kind of flattens or reduces your signal. Otherwise, you're going to have all sorts of crackling and popping and rattling coming from this thing. It's just not going to sound good at all. And the EQ scenario in that can help too. You can change it from balance to rock, and that helps a little bit as well. So it's not perfect. Is it a good little product? Yes. Is it worth the $109 that I paid for when I pre-ordered it? I would say so. Is it worth $129 that it's on sale for right now? It's pushing it. $149 regular price? I wouldn't buy it for $150 regular price. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't. So that's my honest opinion on it. If you got the Mini, I would say stick to the Mini. I don't see any point in going even smaller. I think they should have just gone with a plug-in like the Mustang Micro or those little Vox things that just plug into your guitar and you plug headphones into them. Because when you plug headphones into us, a good pair of headphones will sound fantastic. And it also makes a good Bluetooth speaker. Sitting out by a campfire, it's not too loud if you're just trying to relax and you don't want to tick off the neighbors. So yeah, it's all up to you. I hope I've made some sense in making your decision if you go to buy one of these things. And if you do, I hope you're not disappointed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.